Alright, here we are in game 6. We're taking on the 70 overall Miami Dolphins. You guys have been receiving episodes well. This series will be a series that will continue forward, and I will say this: thank you guys for supporting this series. You guys have been amazing. I will think about doing some Chicago Bears franchise, and yeah, so this video will come out like a week later, and I will consider doing double uploads if I have the time, if I find the time. You guys have to understand that this series is quite an amazing series, and I think you guys have to understand that, putting into work and everything. So here we are in London, Wembley Stadium, and we're wearing the old school uniforms, and we're taking on the one and only Miami Dolphins, who are 0-5, I think, and we're actually gonna face off against one of the top teams, not one of the top teams, one of the worst teams in the AFC. We're currently one of the best, and we're marching down the field. And what you have to understand is that I've always wanted to play in an international game. The issue being is that in Madden, you can only do that with the Jacksonville Jaguars or another team that plays in London. So, for example, the Jacksonville Jaguars are technically, like, I think programmed to play at least once a year in Wembley. They could have played 2 home games in Wembley like in 2020, but that was not allowed because of COVID. We got a touchdown right there. So this year we have a game in Germany, we have a game in Mexico, we have 2 or 3 games in London, which might I say that is pretty good. Now, what would be better would be if we combine the CFL, which is the Canadian Football League, with the NFL, with the, like, yeah. And so, third down 22. On the 8-yard line, 92 yards. So here we go. I throw it up, and it's incomplete. So we have to punt the ball, and he get a touchdown. On the 25-yard line, and luckily we have a hot run master. And I'm playing on All-Pro, and this is interesting. The wide receivers that are not intended to have their routes go back on their route and get the ball. Like, whichever one. And my guy has been Philip Dorsett recently because he's on that slot. He's the slot receiver, and I've been giving him the ball a lot. And what you guys have to understand is, as the season progresses, if I do certain games for my own benefit, which would be very good games, or that I personally enjoy, you have to understand that this series, like this game, is very important because it's in Wembley Stadium. The last time that I ever played at Wembley Stadium was during an Oakland or Las Vegas Raiders game when it was unrecorded. And that got picked off. Byron Jones got it. I think that's Byron Jones. I think. So it's 24-14. So Chenault Jr. and Philip Dorsett have been the top guys for the team, including Carter Landry and those guys, including David Robinson. So we switched from a rushing attack to a passing. And mind you, David Robinson has been a great guy. And Chenault Jr. got a touchdown. So he's been very, very instrumental in the slot, as well as Phil Dorsett. Mind you, the Jags are terrible. So you can imagine when catches like this happen, you could imagine where I am pretty happy. I am pretty happy, and it makes me happy. Where, it's like very proud. It's like an enjoyable moment where, I do these games. I get just to play Madden a lot. And like, I called a timeout in 1 second. I was like, ooh. You know, like I said, I am willing to do a 1-season series. Now, depending on the episodes, depending on X, Y, and Z, I will do maybe a 2nd season with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, if there's any storylines or I have to jump in, I am sorry, I cannot do that. Now, for the Chicago Bears, that will continue because I like the Chicago Bears, how dominant they are when we play in the game, even though I'm willing to slightly take away from some defensive stuff, but you know, that's something I have to work on. In terms of like that franchise, I'm gonna have to at least do at least 6 seasons or 5, because we're currently on episode 2 so far, and this series, the Chicago Bears franchise, takes a lot of work, mind you, and it takes a lot of effort. So if you guys can leave a like and subscribe, you can. This series has been enjoyable because it's like a shortcut into the point. Now I can do that with franchise, it's just I'm willing to do that at a certain point. I don't know when. Maybe with the Washington football team, maybe with the Detroit Lions, maybe with the Jacksonville Jaguars, or maybe with Los Angeles Chargers, maybe with the New England Patriots. New England Patriots would be very interesting, considering like I can run the Philly special with them and have Jacoby Myers throw a pass. You know, the possibilities are endless, mind you. Now, in terms of an NBA 2K franchise or an NHL 22 franchise, which I really want NHL 22, I do not see myself ever playing basketball again. Now, NBA 2K is a pretty good game, but it has a lot of customizations and everything. It's just how much space it takes up on my Xbox is a whole other matter. And I'm willing to play Madden a lot. And Madden is gonna be a very good game. At some point, like, I'm willing to do anything and everything for this series. And out of all the episodes that I've put into this series, out of all the episodes, I am willing to say that this series might be better than the last one that I had in Madden 20, yeah, and that last season is the final season. I will make sure I change everything with that description and everything, because I think its series has laid to rest. Mind you, that series was one of the not one of the greatest, because NBA 2K21 tops it by a long shot. If we were to look at the analytics for my YouTube channel so far, currently the recent upload, but a video that I uploaded last year is currently one of the top. And if we were to look at it currently, it has 51 views. Like, I focus on analytics to make sure what can I do to make my channel better. Currently, as a lifetime achievement, my trailer is still up there, followed by the Rockies franchise, followed by the episode 2 of Madden Overdrive, and then followed by that, the Burnaby Aces. And, you know, we're just pushing the boundaries and everything. Madden, on the other hand, has done bits, you know, like Madden. In terms of Madden, man, like, I have done so much, and I know I'm not focusing on the video, but like, this Madden journey has started since Madden 19. No, since Madden Overdrive. And that's when this series started. That's when everything took a turn, and that's when I started like making videos and stuff like that. And mind you, I have over a lot of videos, so like Madden was like the key back then. And then when I started doing NHL, that also took a life of its own. Now NBA 2K21 took a life of its own, and 19. So like, these series, multiple series, have taken a life of its own. TikTok was a side thing, I will call it that much. But the quiz thing and the YouTube Academy thing, that was like a one-off from what I did, and it took a life, like I said, took a life of its own. Like, NHL 19, like, Be a Pro, did bits. Brawl Stars did pretty well. Sports with a Quiz, like, these series have done well. And the most amount of videos that I have ever done for any, like, a video game so far has been NHL 19. NHL 19. 143. Now, if you take down an account with NHL 19 Be a Pro, that is 183. Look how my quarterback is dominating. Sorry, it's just, if I were to go back to a game and just completely dominate it, I would do NHL 19. It's currently 52-24, but you know what? We run up the score, as we put it, or we chew clock, as most teams would. So you guys, thank you for like being on this journey. I don't know when the 600 video is gonna, or 700 video is gonna come out, but I put so much work into making these videos. Like, I could do editing, I could, like, the thing is, I could do Adobe Premiere if I really wanted to. I could, like, make these videos and do sponsorships and stuff like that, but I'm not there yet. I will tell you guys that this series, like I said, I will think about doing a second season depending on the first video and how much game engagement it gets. Now, if I want to do videos for myself, I will do that for myself. Now, I'll talk about this play real quick. I was trying to break a record with Philip Dorsett for the most amount of yards in a game. Most of the time, wide receivers get 100 yards at least. Most of the time, it's rare for a wide receiver to get 200, or even back-to-back, which Josh Gordon did. I was trying to break the most amount of yards by a receiver in a game, and it didn't happen. It was being a risk. So, that's the end of the game, 55-31. Thank you guys so much for watching. Y'all are legends in my book. Peace.